My Derpy Cosplay won first place in the Journeyman category at my very first cosplay competition, even though I originally entered as a novice, and then later it became my most viral cosplay. People ask me all the time how I made the headdress, so today I'm showing you exactly how I built it, the challenges I ran into, and some alternative methods you can use if you don't have the same tools or supplies. I came up with this idea after I watched KPop Demon Hunters and immediately fell in love with Derpy. I knew I wanted to cosplay him, but I didn't want to make a fursuit. Instead, I decided to reimagine him as an armored warrior with a headdress. The only problem was that I had 2 weeks before LA Comic-Con, so I had to figure out a fast way to create the basic shape of his head. I decided that 3D printing the base probably would be the quickest option, but if you don't have one, you could create a dome base out of EVA foam and sculpt Derpy's head instead. Here's the complete material list, but I'll also link everything in the description below. Now let's start with the base. The first step was measuring the circumference of my head. Then I needed a digital model, and luckily I found this one for free, even though the movie was only a few months old. Thank you to whoever made this. So then I exported the file as an STL and went to Tinkercad, which is a free program you can use. Since I only needed Derpy's head, I used Tinkercad's hole shapes to create a Boolean subtraction and remove everything below the jaw. I didn't record this part during the original build, so I'm just quickly recreating the process here. This example won't be as precise as my final model, but it shows the exact same method. Once you're done placing it, you have to highlight both shapes and click Union Group, and it will cut out the shape. You can see I missed a huge chunk right here. Just repeat until you're happy with it. I still have to make the hole for my head to fit in, so we hit drop to work plane and use the sphere shape to cut it out. Honestly, I don't remember exactly how I worked out all the dimensions. I'm not a math girly. My head measured close to 22 inches, which is about 559 millimeters, but I believe I added another 1 to 2 inches. That extra room really ended up being useful later. And now that it's all done, just export it as an STL and print it. It's okay if you make a mistake, just reprint it like I did. I wanted the headpiece to have more of a realistic effect, so I added foam clay to the eyes, nose, and teeth. Foam clay works so much better if you get it wet, and it also puffs up when it dries. It's easier to create a smooth surface, but not really good if you want a specific texture to hold. You can tell I tried to flatten his iris when molding his eyes, but they ended up puffing out. But I'm glad it didn't turn out the way I wanted originally, because I think it looks a lot better this way. Now I know you're wondering what the is going on here. I made the tusks way too big. I blame sleep deprivation, but I tried using toothpicks to hold up the shape while it dried. It worked to hold up the shape, but when I added more foam clay and water, it started drooping, so I just let it dry overnight upside down. I also added foam clay to the rest of the teeth, but I had to make sure I didn't make them too big or in the way, otherwise it wouldn't sit properly on my head. I added foam clay to the nose as well, but I believe I used a thumbtack to carve out his nose. Now for my favorite part, the painting. I painted everything blue that I was going to lay his fur over. I marked where his irises should be, and I painted his gums and nose pink. Now the eyes were tough to paint because of all the gradients and blending of the colors, but I love a good challenge. I started off by placing the colors unblended in the sections that they would stay in. Then I mixed the two acrylic paint colors together so I had a blending color. I lightly went over the blending section a few times to get it just right. I wish I had more videos showing the actual process, but I didn't think this costume was going to turn me into a content creator like it did. After I finished blending, I needed to add these yellow streaks, kind of like a sunburst out of his iris. I ended up using an acrylic marker, which made it so much easier. Now that the eyes are done, I used a few coats of Mod Podge gloss to give it that shine, but I really regret not using UV resin to hide that texture. I'm too afraid to do it now because I don't want it to bleed into the fur and give me more issues. Now it's time to move on to the fur. I bought 3 different colors of faux fur, and since it was my first time working with it, I didn't realize that you're supposed to cut it from the back with a sharp utility knife instead of scissors. That way you don't cut through the fabric without chopping off the fur itself. I cut and hot glued a big piece of fur at the base to drape down, which looked like male pattern baldness. I also glued the side edges together to hide the seams. I'm going to use this failed 3D print to show you how I glued the fur on. I individually hot glued small pieces of fur starting at the base and working upward. Just a warning, you will get fur everywhere, so make sure you have a vacuum. I overlapped each new layer over the edge of the one below it, so the seams were hidden and the fur flowed naturally in the same direction. Hiding the hot glue became really difficult around the front of the face because it would sometimes darken the fur, so I would end up using super glue in those areas instead. This is what he looked like without the markings. I can't figure out what he reminds me of, so let me know in the comments. For the lighter blue stripes on the side, I tucked the fur underneath the darker fur so that it would naturally poke through. I got a little lazy with the stripes on the back and glued those directly on top. I also used light blue around the eyes and the front of the ears, with black fur on the back of the ears. You don't have to get black fur just for this small section, because I just used a Sharpie to make all the markings, and it would work for the ears as well. To keep the hair in place, I used a strong hairspray, but it does need a touch up every once in a while. I didn't actually finish the headpiece Headpiece completely before LA Comic-Con, which meant a lot of people thought I was Majora's Mask. Honestly, I can't blame them. The convention also revealed some major wearability problems. Because a solid 3D print was sitting directly on my head with almost no airflow, I was dripping sweat. It would also start falling off whenever I tilted my head forward or backwards. Afterward, I made a few changes that helped a lot. I used contact cement to attach a thick piece of foam on the back, which helped stop the headpiece from flying forward whenever I looked down. I added some thick scrap foam inside to lift the print away from my head and create some airflow. This is where that extra space I left around my head became so useful. I then covered it with jersey fabric for comfort and to absorb sweat. I know you're probably thinking that it smells bad, but it really doesn't. I still sweat a little in my hairline, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was before. So to secure it even more, I took a black headband I already owned and used contact cement to glue the fabric to the bottom. Then I hand sewed the fabric to some elastic. I added Velcro to the top of the headband, and then I added the soft Velcro on the inside of the headdress. You can see just how secure it is now. The armor I wore to LA Comic-Con was the first version I ever made. I had rushed the entire concept to meet that 2-week deadline, and afterwards I realized the armor itself really didn't read as derpy. Once I redesigned it and gave myself more time, I became genuinely proud of the finished cosplay. After a lot of strangers encouraged me to enter the cosplay contest, I finally did and I won. The biggest thing I learned from this project is that your first attempt doesn't have to be perfect. Mine definitely wasn't, but every mistake showed me what to improve, and if I had been too afraid to try, this cosplay would have never existed. So that's how this rushed 2-week experiment eventually became my award-winning Derpy cosplay. I'll be breaking down how I made Sussy and the upgraded armor in future videos, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see the rest of the build.